everyone, Steven here from Radolescence, and welcome back to another fragrance review. Thank you for watching. And in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance from the house of Christian Dior by Dior. And the fragrance is called Eau Sauvage Parfum. Now here's the bottle. This one was released just in 2011, and the perfumer behind this fragrance is François Demachy. François Demachy is currently the in-house perfumer for Dior, so of course he has done many other fragrances for the house of Dior. Now this is actually the Parfum version. Now a few different versions of this fragrance exist. We have of course the original, which was done by Edmund Rudnitska back in 1966, so this is a reimagination or a reinterpretation of the original. There's also a Fraîcheur queer version, there is an extreme version, so on and so forth. So just as a consumer, be wary, this is the most recent version, the Parfum version. Now this fragrance is classified as an aromatic citrus, and I think it stays very true to its classification, and I'll be letting you guys know what I think about the smell. Next up, let's take a look at the presentation. So on the box for Eau Sauvage Parfum, you have the name of the fragrance up here, the name of the company down here. On the very bottom, you have the size and the concentration. You have the serial number engraved right here in the corner above the ingredients. UPC on the side, same thing on the back, nothing going on at the top, and that's it as far as the box goes. Now as far as the bottle goes, you have this ribbed pattern here all over the entire bottle, very iconic of the original 1966 release. Eau Sauvage Parfum here on this black label that is all around the entire bottle. You have nothing going on at the bottom, and then the cap has a modern twist to it, literally. It is magnetic, and I like the fact that you can lift it up from the cap without fear of it coming off. The distribution on the atomizer is amazing, and it sprays out a lot of juice relative to the concentration. And that was a presentation for Eau Sauvage Parfum by Dior. My friend Mustafa writes, "Great scent. Bitter, fresh bergamot, resinous and oily myrrh, rooty and earthy vetiver, and finally, vanilla ice cream-like sweetness, all together creating a very masculine and at the same time, sensual scent. If vanilla was a little weaker, that would be awesome, but I love it anyway. A classic scent with modern twist and great performance on the skin." Vlad says, "I love this fragrance. I can say that the myrrh note is just magnificent, the best one you can find on the market in my opinion. Shortly said, elegance in a bottle." Xavier says, "This one makes you want to wear a robe like Hugh Hefner and smoke a pipe by the fireplace. A masterpiece in my eyes." Koo says, "Eau Sauvage is awesome. This stuff will put hair on your chest. Only the brave." And Tomo concludes by writing, "I picture an old husky man with a lot of money wearing this. Mature scent, I must say. Very similar to Polo Safari." Now, my subscribers said it right when they said that this is a very mature and gentlemanly scent. Now, I do want to draw a fine line delineating mature from dated, because I think a lot of times when we think of a dated scent, we think of something that's very prominent with oak moss or pine cone or certain woodsy, coniferous resins, and this one isn't really of that variety. This one is certainly a mature scent, but I think what makes it so green is the use of the note of vetiver. And the vetiver in this scent isn't so squeaky clean like Mugler's Cologne or Original Vetiver by Creed, both of which actually smell very similar. I would even gander at saying they smell nearly identical. But with this fragrance, on the other hand, it has a very kind of like a darker, richer vetiver to it. The closest comparison that I can offer is a fragrance that I've smelled by Courvoisier called L'Édition Impériale. And that one has a very kind of dirty, mature, almost boozy kind of vetiver to it. And that's what you get in here. So it's grassy, it's green, but it's not fresh. A lot of other green scents also smell kind of fresh, like Carolina Herrera's 212 Men, which kind of has like a grassy note to it. This one doesn't necessarily smell fresh, but it does smell very mature. And I like that about it. It has an air of sophistication and elegance about it that I really like with this scent, especially if I'm wearing it geared towards more formal occasions. Now, it does open up with a little bit of bergamot, and with certain fragrances, you're like, yeah, I don't really smell any citrus to it, or it's part of the marketing or the advertising, just the note breakdown in general. But this one, you do get a little bit of bergamot, and I like that freshness that it gives in the opening. Kind of lends way to you believing it's going to be much fresher than it actually is, but it just kind of hints or intimates at what you don't really get later on in the dry down. You do get this vetiver note, and it's compounded by the use of the note of myrrh. Now, a lot of us, when we think of myrrh, we think of the incense, and when we think of incense, we think of smoke. I do have to say that this fragrance does not in any way smell smoky, which for some people might be a good thing, some people might be a bad thing. For me, in the case of this fragrance, it's most certainly a good thing. Reason why I say that is because the myrrh in here kind of gives off like a resinous but also a rubbery feel to it. I don't know if anybody else has tried this, but I always spray fragrances on the back of my hand, and I've sprayed this one on the back of my hand several times, and immediately after I wash my hands, I still smell them just to see if, you know, the fragrance was washed off completely, and usually that's a testament of how well it lasts and how oily it is and its performance or whatnot. But with this fragrance, what you smell is what is left over, and in the case of this fragrance, it was the myrrh. And the myrrh came off smelling very rubbery, which in my experience, because I do own a few essential oils, it is of the bitter variety. So this has a very bitter myrrh note to it. Now for some people, they like the sweeter variety, which is known as a Papanax, which is what you get in fragrances like Jubilation 25 by Amouage and some other resinous offerings. But in this, it is of the bitter variety, and that definitely contributes to the mature feel that this fragrance gives off. So as a enthusiast or as somebody looking to purchase a new fragrance, please check this out. Don't watch, you know, the glaring reviews on it and read the glaring reviews on it and think, oh, this is definitely going to give me that mature, sophisticated feel. You know, you might not like it. So I think that that's one way that this fragrance could potentially turn some people off. But it has a lot of the spices, I do have to mention, from the original, the 1966 version. Now, of course, I haven't smelled the vintage version. I have unfortunately only been able to smell the reformulated version, but I do get some of those other green notes like the basil and whatnot. So this is certainly a unique composition, but there is a simpleness to it too. So I like that. I like the simplicity as well as that uniqueness that this fragrance has to offer. Overall, I think this is a very nice, kind of fresh, not really, not entirely, but especially in the opening, kind of fresh green, resinous, rubbery myrrh kind of offering that certainly smells very gentlemanly, very mature, and is perfect for an upscale scenario. I would even go as far as saying this probably would attract the attention of ladies who are a little bit older than you. So if that's what you're going for, you might like this one. For me, I don't like the fact that it's not youthful. You know, I like having a youthful quality about my scents, but as far as the quality in it goes, this is definitely La Collection Privée quality. Many of you may be familiar with Dior's higher offerings, the La Collection Privée line. This is definitely a fragrance that could have made it in that line. As a matter of fact, I would say this one is probably right in between Eau Noir and Vetiver, both of which are now discontinued. So if you wanted the happy medium between Eau Noir and Vetiver, this is it. This is a great fragrance, guys. Make sure you check it out. So compliment factor, I do have to say, is a little bit low on this one, but this is one of those fragrances that you wear for yourself. Last up, we have the rating. So first up, we have uniqueness and overall smell, and I had to give this one an 8 out of 10. I wish I could have given it a slightly higher score. I mean, Fix It is reused very successfully, incredibly unique composition, and for Dior and the designer scent, the quality in here is superb. Very impressed, and this is just a testament as to how much I do love designer scents and how many great offerings are on the market. The only thing is that the compliment factor is kind of low for this one unless you're trying to target an older crowd. If that's your goal, then I think you will be quite successful with this scent, but if not, if you're trying to target a younger demographic, if you will, I don't think this one is going to do all that well on you. But this is one of those scents, like I said, which you have to wear for yourself. So definitely make sure you check it out, especially if you want that reimagined version of the original, you want to wear something classic. This is definitely a great scent for that. 8 out of 10. As far as longevity goes, 10 out of 10. You will get 12 plus hours with this scent, especially that lingering myrrh note in the base. Great composition. Absolutely love the performance on this one. And as far as projection goes for this one, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, it does project pretty heavily in the first hour of application. I actually sprayed this inside my shirt, and I could still smell it. It permeates through your clothes. So the projection might be just a little bit too strong for some people, but of course, you can control that by under applying or applying lightly. And as far as versatility goes, this is a 6 out of 10. I had to bring this down, unfortunately. This would do really well in the fall and winter. Summer days, even though it has vetiver and bergamot, you think, oh, it's going to be a fresh scent. No, it's not. This is definitely, especially with the excellent projection, this would do really, really well in the colder months. So just avoid wearing it in the dead of heat or in the dead of summer. As far as age range goes, I think, 30 and up. You definitely have to be a mature gentleman in order to pull this off, and I certainly wouldn't even wear this casually or on a date unless you know the type of girl and you know that she would have a proclivity towards these kinds of scents. And definitely you can pull this off shirt and tie, suit and tie, upscale formal scenario. This is where it really peaks. And then as far as presentation goes, I like the magnetic cap. I love the ridges in the bottles, the corrugated surface. I like that label that goes all around it. I think this is like an 8 out of 10 for presentation. And overall, I'm gonna have to give this scent an 8 out of 10. Now this is a great scent, and I could have given it a higher score because I love the smell. Super intriguing, complex, but simple at the same time. And as far as the quality goes, like I said, this is La Collection Privé quality. This is a great scent. Unfortunately, there are some other aspects of it that really compromise its, overall nature, performance being one, the fact that it projects just a little bit too heavily, and the lack of versatility. But other than that, this is a great scent. Make sure you check it out, especially if you're looking to buy a scent just for yourself, not necessarily to attract a mate or anything like that. So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. That was my review of Eau Sauvage Parfum by Dior. If you own or have tried this scent, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, please don't forget to rate and subscribe for future videos. So again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. This has been Steven with another fragrance review from Radolescence. We'll see you soon.